my devotions, and I was reading through Mark chapter 8, and came across Mark 8:35. Many of you probably know the verse. Says, if you try to hang on to your life, you'll lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of the good news, you will save it. It's Jesus talking, and it just popped into my head. Recently, I watched the Joe Rogan podcast with Oliver Anthony Music. His name is Chris. It's not Oliver. And he talked about just his kind of journey and how he, for, basically what he talked about is how he ended up kind of knowing that he was supposed to use his musical gift for something. And he framed it as if he's kind of surrendering to God. That's not his exact words. But he basically said at one point he had to follow what he felt like God wanted him to do. And fairly soon after that kind of change and that commitment, he stopped drinking. He stopped doing, I think he was smoking, and he was just giving it all to his music. And I could be totally wrong. I don't remember the exact time frame. It could be as long as, I think maybe he said 2 years, but it could have been as short as, I thought I heard him say like 2 months. His song, Rich Men North of Richmond, just explodes, and now he's in this crazy position of influence. And so me being a worship pastor and just doing music and just being a Christian in general, I don't know why that came into my mind, but I just wanted to kind of share, like, God is doing something. And I'm not saying that Oliver Anthony is some sort of, or Oliver Anthony Music and Chris is like some sort of prophet, or if he, we should all follow him now. And he wouldn't say that either, I don't think. If you've listened to full interviews with him, he's just like, I'm a normal guy. But the key thing that I want Christians to think about is, no matter what you think about, like, all the different things that he might say on a podcast or on an interview or on his videos that he does, I think a lot of people who are very, very proper type Christians, they're not going to like his language. They're going to be all like, he swears and all this stuff. But here's my thought. He goes on, within, I believe, a month after his song explodes, he is invited to go on the Joe Rogan podcast, which, if you don't know, is by far the biggest podcast in the world, as far as I know. And I could be wrong, but we'll just say it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest. And it may even be the biggest single platform in the world right now. Now, I'm just spitballing there. It's huge. The reach of that podcast is absolutely massive. And he goes on and talks about a lot of different things, a lot of things that I agreed with and thought were really good. But the main thing is he's pulling out his Bible, reading scripture on the biggest podcast probably ever. And to me, that is a win. It seems like he's reading scripture wherever he goes. And so, whether you like him, hate him, agree, disagree on all kinds of stuff, I'm going to go ahead and say, man, keep reading scripture, because that's where, as a Christian, I believe scripture is powerful. It's sharper than a two-edged sword. God uses it. It doesn't return void, all those things. So my thought, my 2 cents, everybody's throwing all their opinions out there and all this stuff. Man, I'm loving it. I think God is on the move. And, if you're a Christian, I'm going to pray that God will continue to use him to just spread his word, and I pray that he'll grow closer and closer to the one true God that we believe in, that the Bible communicates to us. And wow, I mean, it's just awesome to see what God is doing. I think he's changing a lot of people's lives through just the simplicity of Oliver Anthony Music. So let's go.